You can move on your own. Read your moves, dancing in the end zone. Crush groove. All we do is get dubs. Hate to lose. We can do this all day. No snooze. Only get it popping if you saying that you poppin', dog. Never will I lose to a dude just for having y'all. All a deep pass, watch glass. What you trying for? Gonna pass a shit, better yet, put on up quick. Hear 'em hating from the side. Twitch watch. I guess you say it's about time. TikTok. FNG, where we at? On top. Other leagues can't win. Flip flop. Be a champion.
FNG, what's going on? As always, it's your boy, Big Boy Deal. Welcome back to another show of FNG Madden 20 League. We have a great show. Obviously, we always do this podcast show every 2 weeks, but in the last week, from our last podcast show, a lot of stuff has went down. A lot of upsets. Some teams that were booted from the league. Playoff pictures. It's just a lot of stuff that couldn't wait for another week. We have to talk about it right now. So I reached out to a couple guys, said, hey, what about doing a show this week? They was on board. Why not? So this is why we're having a show this Sunday. With that being said, I got to introduce the fellas on the show. Coming back for a second week in a row, we got the Broncos owner, Cole.
What's
how you
up,
doing,
what's up,
sir?
what's up?
Yes, sir.
I'm
Thanks
doing good.
for
How
being
about
on,
yourself?
man. Good, man. Good. Good. Thanks for being on. We got,
Thanks for having me.
yes, sir. We got one of the owners that almost lost to the Broncos, aka Debo.
Hey, why I gotta be Debo, man?
Man, you Debo, man. Whatever.
What's going on, fellas?
You are Debo. Welcome back. Thank you, sir, for being on.
Of course.
All right. I'm forgetting about the other two. We got Mr. Clean, Tiger. He's not great.
Kick rock.
Yeah, whatever. Triple OG / Triple OG, as always, Mr. Tony Tranks. Thank you for being on, sir.
Greetings, everyone. Good to be here.
All right.
What's going on?
And then, right in time. Let's see who this is. And then the other commissioner, he's coming back on. Mr. Hoseyan, fight.
What's up, fellas? I don't know what's going on, man. I'm already having connectivity issues.
Yeah, right. That's all right. Thanks for being on, man.
Time to move into a new house.
Yeah, oh, that's my son.
Not right now, it ain't.
Right.
No. It's time for the podcast to move into a new house.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah, so as always, we'll go down division leaders. But I do thank you, gentlemen, for being on and guys watching. I know we just had a show last week, but like I said, a lot of stuff has transpired. We got a lot of stuff that happened, man. We got to talk about it. All right?
A whole lot.
A whole lot. So, Mr. Tranks, you want to go over division leaders?
Yes, we will go over the FNG division leaders. We'll start at the AFC North like we usually do. We have the Ravens leading the AFC North at 11-3. They're looking real strong for a playoff picture here, but we have the Bengals and Browns both a game back, and they play each other this week. So the winner of this has the best opportunity for a playoff spot with us having 3 games left.
Yes.
And we have the Steelers at 1-13.
Hey, and I know I posted that our games will be at 6 o'clock today. It got moved to Monday, 6 p.m. Eastern time.
10-4. I knew it was potentially not going to be played if he had some family time he had to deal with. So, it's whatever. We'll be looking forward to the game because you guys usually have a good game.
Yep.
Going down to the AFC South, we have the Texans ahead by 3 games at 8-6. We have the Jaguars at 5-9. We have the Titans at 3-10, and we have the computer-led Colts. Oh, I'm sorry. The Jaguars are 5-9. They're computer-led as well. Jaguars and Colts are both computer-led, which is one of the surprises here. Moving over to the AFC East, we have the predicted Bills at 10-4, leading the division. We have the Patriots at 8-5 and the Jets at 8-6, right behind the Bills, and they're fighting for the wild card and the division. So, being 2 games back. 1 to 2 games back from the Bengals and the Browns. makes the last couple games really tight for these guys. And we have the Dolphins at 6-7. Moving over to the AFC West, we have the Chargers at 13-0, and they've already clinched their division. We have the Raiders at 5-8. We have the Broncos at 6-8, and we have the Chiefs at 3-11, running the whole division out. Moving up to the NFC, we're at the NFC North. We have the Bears, who have finally taken over the King of the North title. They're 8-5. With the Vikings a game back at 7-6, and I think they split this year. I'm not sure. But we have the Packers at 7-7. We're talking about half game behind, and the Lions wrapping up the division at 1-12. We have the NFC South. We have the Panthers at 11-3. They've clinched the division. We have the Buccaneers at 5-9, with the Falcons at 3-10, the computer-led Falcons, and we have the Saints at 2-11. We have the NFC East. The Redskins, after that hot game they did just won against the Cowboys, they're 10-4. One game back, we have the Eagles at 8-5. We have the Cowboys at 7-7, and we have the Giants rounding up the division at 3-10. Heading over to the NFC West, NFC Best, we have the Seahawks. We have the Seahawks at 14-0, and they have clinched the playoff. They haven't clinched the division yet, but they've clinched the playoffs. We have the 49ers at 11-2. They've also clinched the playoffs. With the Rams at 7-6, 4 games back, with 3 games left. Anything can happen, but we don't know. What they're going to do the last three games. And we have the Cardinals at 6-8, and I believe the Cardinals are eliminated from playoffs. And that deal is the NFC, FNG, AFC, and NFC standings.
Yes, sir. Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Oh, that's some good stuff. So, can we go over the playoff pictures? I know Stephen Billups usually is good at this. Tiger, Jose, y'all on mute. So let's get some background. Also, you too, Cole. But we can go over the playoff picture.
Playoff picture. Which division you want to do first?
Let's do your favorite division. Let's do yours.
Okay. NFC Conference. You there, Tiger?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, so
I want to make sure I was unmuted first. All right.
10-4.
So we're going to do the NFC West first?
NFC playoff perspective.
Okay. So the NFC playoff perspective. We have 3 teams that have clinched. Looks like
congratulations.
Congratulations. Looks like the Panthers won their division. And the Seahawks and 49ers are
they clinched
not officially clinched, but I think the Seahawks have 1 game over or 2 games right now with 2 games remaining. So that was pretty promising. I think Bat's victory today might have not Bat's, sorry. Zay's victory over Bat today gave him a strong position to win the NFC East. Trying to think. He's not officially there, though he has 2 wins over the Eagles. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I can't win the division. So I'm pretty sure Zay might have clinched the division. It's I think even if he lost the next 2, I don't think either of them against the Eagles. And yeah, I'm pretty sure they can't come back, but I could be wrong because
Redskins' last 2 games are the Saints and the Panthers.
Right, but I think he had 2 wins over the Eagles. So if he lost 2 and the Eagles won 2, he would still win the tiebreaker, I believe. Yeah,
I believe the Redskins are. I think they're 5-1 in the division.
Yeah, so I think that the division is his. So it looks like they're going to be the other division winner. I mean, if I put my money on it, I would say Seahawks going to win the West. That puts Jedi at the highest wild card,
number 5 seed.
Right, and then the Bears look like they're in control of the North, but assuming they don't stumble, that would put either the Cowboys or the Eagles, depending on how the last 2 games go, as the other wild card.
So that means when he come in, your ass getting out. Do over.
All right, you want me to pick up? All right, I'll do it. They're built. All right.
Hey man, you better stop that before you fucking fart or something.
Right. Here we go. We got built. Okay, here we go. Hey,
man.
and look, and I tell you, man, these Panthers, I told you beginning of the season, these Panthers gonna be really legit.
Whatever, dude.
Panthers gonna be really legit. And the Bears, they finally win in the King of the North, but we don't know if they're gonna be a King of the North. Hey, they got some quality wins. Let's see. No, so my prediction right now is that we're going to have the Seahawks, Panthers, Redskins, and Bears win their divisions, and then the wild card is going to be Jedi, and then it's going to be a toss-up to see whether
49ers.
I'm sorry, the 49ers, and the toss-up will be whether or not the Eagles can show out in the last couple of games, or whether or not the Vikings, represent. That's my toss-up for the NFC East or NFC.
Okay.
Sorry. For the AFC. We have the undefeated Chargers, nearly defeated Chargers, but undefeated Chargers finish the division and a playoff spot. We have, and that is for the AFC West. For the AFC North, it's kind of tight, but we have the 3 lost Ravens, who have 2 games left to hold on to that lead.
And they're 1 game in front of the Bengals and the Browns.
Yeah, they're 1 game in front of the Bengals and Browns. So this next game with the Bengals and Browns is going to be significant because I believe the Browns have swept the Ravens this season.
Yeah, I swept them, and I lost 1 game to the Bengals.
Right.
I
So
lost 1 game to the Ravens.
I
my
believe
question is,
tiebreakers, if you beat the Bengals.
And the Bengals lost twice to the Ravens.
Right. But I think that tiebreaker will give you a tiebreaker over the Bengals. So that's but I'm not sure if either of you guys at 10. I'm not sure if either of you it's gonna be tight. You have to need some help for the Ravens to catch the Ravens. So
the Ravens have to lose because they're
lose
only
again.
1 game behind though.
Right, yeah. But if he loses against if for instance, if Dill, who has a better chance of, he would have to lose twice for Billups to catch him because Billups doesn't have a tiebreaker. Dill has a tiebreaker. So if the Ravens win 1 and Dill wins out, then Dill wins the tiebreaker against the Ravens, he wins the division. Right. So that's what a scenario. But as it sits at this moment, Ravens are in the driver's seat. They control their own destiny. That will be for the AFC North. If that comes to pass and the Browns beat the Bengals, the Browns would be number 1 seed. If the Browns lose to the Bengals, it's going to be messy to figure out who those wild cards are.
It'll be real messy.
But it looks like at this point, there could very easily be 3 wild cards coming out of that division, AFC North.
Yeah.
Because Billups has had a very good season because he has some quality wins. So, over in the AFC East, we have the Bills at 10-4. Yeah, there's one. All right, so the next
So 1 game ahead of the Patriots and the Jets.
2 games actually 2 games ahead of the Patriots and the Jets, and the Jets just lost. So it's really the Patriots to catch them, and so a 2-game lead over the Patriots looks like it might stand. We'll see. The Jets already played this week and lost, so they're a solid 2 games. The Bills also played, so the Patriots could win and close the gap by a game. You're right, Jedi, but they haven't played yet.
Correct.
And then the next division, I guess that would be the AFC West, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's his division. So I think that the teams we named, those are the other wild cards. If I put my money on it, the Browns, the Bengals, and the Ravens are going to the playoffs with the Bills and Chargers.
The Bengals lose to the Browns. The Bengals will have 6 losses, won't they?
No, the Bengals have 4 losses right now.
4. Oh, okay. So they got to lose twice.
30
They
seconds.
put the Browns, Broncos, and then put the Jets.
Right.
Yeah.
The Jets could potentially affect their playoff seeding if they lose to the Browns, and the Broncos could actually play spoiler week 16 against the Bengals and give the Jets a chance to control their destiny week 17.
Right.
Right. Last wild card spot.
But I don't believe – I don't know. Look at the numbers. Unless we're barring a full-on collapse, even at 5 losses, whoever loses the game tomorrow night, they'll have 5 losses. Barring a collapse in the last two, I don't see how the Jets could come back having just lost again. I don't see how the Jets could come back the last two games and win any tiebreakers. And
They
so,
played the Bengals head to head.
yeah, you're assuming that the Bengals lose against the Browns. If the Bengals beat the Browns, if the Bengals beat the Browns, I don't think that the Jets could beat any tiebreakers against the Browns. So I think that mathematically, from this guesstimation, that if the Browns lose, Jets are out. If the Browns win, Jets might have a chance against the Bengals because of the head-to-head.
And the Broncos
will
have
my money there because
a potential to make a difference.
Yeah, being how they just lost again, I'm not putting my money there. Just not doing it. So I'll put my money on the Patriots winning or the Bills winning that division. The Browns, Bengals, Ravens, and Chargers being the representatives. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Okay. Sounds like that's an NFC and NFC deal.
I appreciate it, fellas. So staying right there, y'all want to do power rankings or don't worry about it this week?
Well, I mean, we got 3 weeks of change, so it couldn't hurt. Anybody move? I'll read back last power rankings.
Yeah, read back. Yeah, thank you. And
this power ranking is the old one that we're doing is from week 8 to week 12. We have the Seahawks at number 1. We have the Chargers at number 2. We have the 49ers number 3. We have the Ravens at number 4. We have the Panthers at number 5. We have the Bengals at number 6. We have the Bears at number 7. We have the Browns at number 8. We have the Vikings at number 9. And we have the Bills at number 10.
So
I think Seahawks and Chargers, that should be the same, right? They both haven't lost.
Right. The Bears and the Ravens should change.
Okay. 49ers and Ravens. What's the Ravens record? They have 2 or 3 losses?
That's 3 losses. I mean, it's still right there.
All right, so 49ers and Ravens can stay the same for now.
Okay.
Okay, Ravens at 4. Panthers at 5. They haven't taken a loss since. Okay, so let's keep the Panthers at number 5. So it's now Bengals, Bears, Browns, Vikings, and Bills. Bears still over the Browns. Bengals and Browns are tied, so the Bengals should move, right? They can stay at 6.
Yep.
Bears, have they lost since week 12?
I believe so. Yeah, they're 8-5 now.
Okay, so we push the Browns up 1 to number 7, just below the Bengals, and we have the Bears, Vikings, and Bills as the last potential 3 teams.
All right, you forgot the Redskins. Redskins are 10-4,
so they move up.
Yeah,
above the Bears.
Yeah, above the Bears.
Okay, we'll put the Skins at number 8. Welcome back to the top 10, Isaiah. And then for the last 2, Bears, Vikings, Bills. Anybody else that we're missing?
No, not to me.
So we need the last 2. The Eagles, Bears, Patriots all 3 have 5 losses. So which 2 do you think deserve to be up there?
Eagles, Patriots.
Eagles and Patriots?
Yep. Okay. Unless y'all think otherwise.
It doesn't matter because they both have to play their game. So
I played a pass week 17. Well, that's a big game too. I gotta win this game and oh shoot. Yeah, thanks, dude.
Who's it for?
Well, let me read it back to you, Dill.
Who's it for? That's what we're trying to figure out. Who's this going to be for, right? Because Harry thinks it's going to be for him. Matt thinks it's going to be for him.
Hey, right there. What is that? Oh, my bad. I didn't mean to do that. My bad.
No, you meant to.
What is that?
Filament.
Oh, snap.
Look, see?
Printer filament.
Forge the future.
Forge the future.
Is going to be the future. Is it going to be a 2-time champ, a 3-time champ, a 9-time champ, a 6-time champ, a first-time champ? Who's it going to be?
At least you didn't say 0-time champ like you.
Trust me, I'm going to order a pink box for until he wins. I told you that. It's going to be
If I win and you send me that, wait till I send you something back. Just watch. Send you a Barbie doll dressed just like you.
Oh, look, Zay said, hey, wait a minute. I ain't gonna put that up. He said, Q come out. Too late. You in there, brother. 10-4.
Yeah.
Hey, that would be a 2-time
back
champ.
in it.
That would be a 2-time champ, wouldn't it?
Yeah, you want me to read back the top 10, Dill?
Yes, please.
All right. Top 10 for as of week 13 to 15. Seahawks number 1, Chargers number 2, 49ers number 3, Ravens number 4, Panthers number 5, Bengals number 6, Browns number 7, Redskins number 8, Eagles number 9, and the Patriots wrapping it up number 10. That's the top 10 for FNG.
I appreciate that, man.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Why is it 5 losses, really? All right, whatever. Okay. All right. Y'all want to go back to week 12?
Week 13, I think.
13.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I think we did week 12.
We did 8 to 12 for the last top 10. So 12, we were on week 12 last podcast.
Yeah.
No, it was 8 to 11 last podcast.
Really?
Yeah,
I'm sure we were on week 12.
We were
in the middle of the week. We were in the middle of the week. I mean, we could do over it if you want. I'm not fighting.
Yeah, we didn't start week 12.
Yeah, we talked about,
no, we did do week 12 because Cole didn't want to talk about that Ravens loss.
Right. There you go. Yeah. Week 13.
Definitely talk about that one.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, week 13.
Week 13 games of the week.
I look like the Patriots and Texans game was close. Patriots lost to the Texans 28 to 31. One second, I got it. Somebody got talking in the background? I got it.
Halcyon, I think.
I got it.
Right.
Wait a minute, y'all. Let me get Cole. Give me 1 second. I'll bring you back in.
Must be Billups.
I need this game from this guy.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah, you good. What's up, Bill?
What's going on,
He
fellas?
said Bengals and Browns owner. That's pretty good.
Oh, I like it.
Hey, Bill, we can play right after this if you want to.
But they had that title already? Wouldn't it have to be like the second owner or third owner?
Wolf tickets being sold.
I thought Reggie took that title, and then Matt took that title. Now, Billups taking that title. Y'all got like a.
What is he talking about? Really?
Oh no, man! Oh,
the multi-party ownership.
he's still talking.
Oh my goodness!
All right. Hey, Cole, I'm gonna bring you back in.
Hey,
y'all go over.
quick question. I missed some of the podcast while I was logging in. I heard the top 10, but I didn't hear the Bills' name in there. Was there a reason the Bills were out? The top 10?
Were they?
They not that good.
I heard the Patriots, but I didn't hear the Bills' name.
They moved the Redskins up to 8 because of.
I think it should have been Bills instead of Patriots. I think someone misspoke.
Yeah,
The Bills should be ahead of the Patriots for sure. They're on like a 7-game win streak. So.
Yeah, I think misspoke.
So would you like to put the Bills at 9 because they have the division?
They should be over the Patriots.
Wherever the Patriots are, I
Wherever
think
you put it at.
All right, so here's what we're going to do. Are we ranking the Eagles above the Bills or the Bills above the Eagles?
The Bills above the
In my
Eagles.
opinion, I would rank the
Bills above.
I would rank the Bills above them, in my opinion. But I mean, I just didn't hear them in the top 10.
They weren't.
That was my biggest argument.
They were moved out of the top 10. So I think that I'm glad you said something because
it
doesn't make sense.
I heard the Patriots get mentioned in the top 10, and that, to me, that shouldn't happen. Not with the
Bills in the division,
Patriots, but not
Not with the Bills leading the division. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, so let's put the Bills at 9. It's fine.
At least he honest.
And again, I was logging in when I heard y'all go over it, so I might have missed some commentary, but
no commentary can make that make sense. And the Eagles are right now fighting for a potential wild card, so we'll put the Eagles at 10. That's fine.
Thanks for catching that. Thank you for catching that.
Yeah.
All right. So going back to week, was it 13?
Week 13.
All right, y'all got that.
Patriots lost to the Houston Texans 28-31. That's a good win by Felter.
Yeah, the Texans are pretty close to clinching their division, I think now, especially with two computer teams out there. So
yeah,
Texas should be in the playoff at a lock.
Yeah, another game or two. Still got the Titans out there, but it's not likely.
Titans, I think, only got 3 wins. The closest team was the Jags, and the Jags are a computer-led team now. So
correct.
Texas should be locked in at that 4th seed.
That's something stupid happened.
Yeah.
Let's see. Chargers had a really big win against the Dallas Cowboys, and the Cowboys really needed this win to keep it going. They lost 31-3.
Yeah.
You want to tell us about that game, Harry?
I am not a bully. That's all I'm going to say.
You a bully.
Everybody keeps calling me a bully.
You're Debo.
I really just. It was a good game. You know, he really tried to come out and run the ball with Zeke and wasn't too successful. Derwin James
13 for 53.
Yeah. And usually every time he got into the red zone, he was just unsuccessful. I mean, I really wasn't too many highlights in that game, honestly.
Well, Dak Prescott had a 41 quarterback rating. Inversely to the Andrew Carlson's quarterback rating, 141.3. He only had 142 yards, but he had 2 touchdowns and no picks versus Dak Prescott's 173 yards, no touchdown, 3 picks. So I'm sure that was big.
He only threw the ball 7 times, though. So, I mean, it was efficient.
Yeah, very efficient. He had 20 yards per average per pass, so there were big bombs when he did throw it. And this is another game without Melvin Gordon. 11 attempts for Austin Eckler, 54 yards and a touchdown. So, Bo Scarborough had 31 yards on 2 carries and a touchdown. So, combined, they're doing okay, holding it down for Melvin Gordon being hurt. How long before you get him back?
He comes back the first week of the playoffs, and I'll have a bye week, so he'll be well rested.
That works. So you should be unfazed by that.
Mm-hmm. Me and Tiger had a close game, week 13.
Yes.
3-point game.
Yes, I remember that game. I was watching it. Why don't you tell us about that?
I came in the first half. I played great. The second half, I played absolutely terrible. I don't know what happened in the second half. Everything I tried to do just didn't work.
But how did you pull out the win though? Like I don't understand what happened. You held him off.
He couldn't. Mike Evans. He couldn't guard Mike Evans. That's how I pulled out the win.
Tiger, any commentary on that?
No, look, it was 2 long plays. I think the first 2 we had open guy was open. The rest of the game, all the plays he made, they made over or around other players. So it means that I made the adjustment. I had people around him. They just were getting lost. And you put a guy.
That's how it went. I put the ball.
My God, going to make a play.
Yeah, there was definitely some throws where I just threw it. There was this one I remember where I thought it was an interception. And I still had the ball. After I threw it up to Mike Evans, it looked like he intercepted it. And then, so I'm getting ready to pick a defensive play, and I'm on offense. I was like, oh okay.
Yeah. What he's saying is that even the coaching staff was surprised by some of the stuff. Nah, he played well. He came out the case. Now I made a mistake and this is a lesson to all you people out there. Don't underestimate him. I had never played him before, so I was like, I'm gonna just jump on. I was playing I think I was doing homework, talking to somebody, and they were like, "Yo, we'll play him now." And he originally said we are gonna play the next day. I was like, "Yeah, I'll play." Got on cold, got down 2 scores, and couldn't bring it back.
Wait, was that a lesson you're giving everybody else?
Right,
like a lesson from you?
I'm gonna give a side eye.
I'm projected, okay? I'm projected.
It's a lesson out here to everybody. By the way, my record is like 3 and 10.
Gerald Edwards had a phenomenal game. 138.4 quarterback rating, 340 yards, 5 touchdowns with just 1 pick. He had an 81-yarder.
Man, I'm pretty sure he's like second in the league in passing and touchdowns.
It went all those balls went to Antonio and to Matt Evans, man. It was like 10 catches, 300 yards, 5 touchdowns. You know, that's
Mike
He's
Evans,
a
6
nuisance,
catches,
man.
224 yards, 37.3 average per catch, 3 touchdowns. Antonio Brown had 4 for 57, 14.3 per catch, and 2 touchdowns. It was spectacular display of passing, and you have 2 good receivers, so I could see why you wanted them both. Was able to get you that win.
Yep.
You probably had to clean up your run defense a bit.
100%. That's the weakness every week is that people run for hundreds of. That's all my losses. I've probably given up like 100.
I think my third streak.
Hold on. Okay. What else happens when you lose? Let me take some notes real quick, and I'll play you next week. But
Well,
run the ball.
No. There was a late game. He gives up late game turnovers. Isn't that what he said? Late game blocks, fumble, punt return. What was the 3 losses he talked about last time? He was like,
well, my team isn't very disciplined in the fourth quarter. That's all I'm gonna say.
That sounds like coaching to me.
All right.
But hey, it was a good win regardless.
Yeah.
You know, you had to edge it out because you need that if you want to, continue to get better for next season. Are you officially eliminated? Did we
probably. Yeah, unless
okay,
no, yeah, I'm eliminated. I can only get 9 wins, and both wild cards are gonna have 10 wins. But I can play spoiler and Billups next week, and that's my goal now.
Yes, week 16.
That's gonna be a barn burner.
I did that to the Jets this week. I heard the Jets this week because I beat them today, so I heard that this week.
Hey, I appreciate that too. Worst. I'm fighting the Jets and the Browns. So.
Hey, Billups. Don't think I ain't hear what you're saying. I'm telling you, my prediction is this: you're gonna be watching the playoffs same place I'm watching them.
Hold on, you just predicted he was going to be in the playoffs. How you gonna say he's going to be out of the playoffs, man?
I'm recalculating because here's the thing: if Dill beats Bills, he's gonna be up a game, and if Dill plays Week 17 against the Pats, you could change the playoff seedings. This is what Pats just remind me of.
Hey, Tiger, you gotta be broke by now, man, for ordering pizza, popcorn, and soda, sitting on that couch for the playoffs.
I'm generous.
Moving right along.
Are we going to Week 14?
Yeah, we probably should. The only thing that's otherwise stands out, there are 2 games that the Bears took a loss against the Cardinals, 24-19, which was a surprise. And the Seahawks kind of dominated the guy that clinched the division, 62-13. I wasn't expecting it to be that bad. I expected the Seahawks to win, but it was dominating. Outside of that, everything else looks what it should be.
It did.
Did I miss a game?
Second game from the bottom.
Oh yeah, Minnesota.
See what I mean?
Cincinnati.
We gotta get you some glasses, man.
No, I don't want to sit too hard on the Bengals and their playoff chances.
Yeah, that's a big pause right there, bro.
No, I didn't mention the Bengals' playoff chances. How'd you feel in that game, and what was the key to your victory, Billups, against Minnesota?
Really, he played differently than I've ever played him before. He's been predominantly, for the years I've been in there, a run first team, run second, run third. And with his new toy at Mahomes, he passed the ball a lot more than what I expected. I think I got a pretty good pass defense. So when he went pretty close to exclusively passing the ball, it really made the game a lot easier for me. I forced some turnovers. Basic game, ran the ball, played good defense. A lot of his runs he got were late. The game was already over, so I really held him to pretty much no rushing yards at all. But that really wasn't because of great defense. He was just pass happy. He goes a lot of big plays to what's his receivers he has? He has Thielen and the other guy,
Stephon Diggs.
Stephon Diggs, thank you. A lot of big plays to Stephon Diggs. He goes deep with him a lot. I was able to stop that. I noticed that pretty early in the game. So once I kind of stopped that deep ball, there wasn't a lot of stuff going on. So I feel like
I watched the game a little bit.
So every game I played the last 4 weeks to me have been playoff games. So I've been just battling, trying to stay ahead of keep my head above water. So it's definitely getting me prepared. Win and keep playing. If you lose, I'm counting on somebody else to help me out. So,
I watched that game, Billups. You I think the key to that, at least that I see statistically, you had 132.2 quarterback rating with 213 yards, and 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. But you were 14 for 16 in that game.
Yeah,
and you're pretty efficient, but you don't usually have that many. 87%. That's usually run the ball, and you had success on the ground plus success in the air. And you were throwing to your running backs a lot. Giovanni Bernard had 163 yards, 10 catches.
Yeah, so for my game, and not to give Dillard everything before we play or anything like that, but I lost Mixon, so I was really run dominant with Mixon in the game, and losing him. I would rather have him, but it made me spread my game out a lot more for sure. So I'm running the ball, I'm passing the ball. Dillard first down, I'm gonna run it right up. I'm gonna run it inside. I'm gonna run it to the outside.
All up
left,
in the cam.
to the outside right. I'm gonna make sure I score more points than you. I'm gonna make sure I send you home.
Is that a guarantee? Is that a guarantee?
That's what I said.
Is that a guarantee?
Oh, that's what he said.
Hey, did I stutter? He going home.
10-4. Before we go completely off the rails, week 14. That was a good win though for you. You needed that.
Thank you.
Yeah, whatever.
Let's see. Anything stand out for you guys? Oh,
No,
Cleveland swept Baltimore 31-24.
Ooh.
That was a good game too.
Yeah.
Anybody see that? I actually missed that game.
That was a really good game.
I actually just watched that yesterday. It was, he had you down with 14-0.
Yeah.
The beginning.
And then he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm supposed to play."
What are you talking about?
I can't, man. This dude, man.
Yeah, he's kick him off and bring Cole back in.
That was a good game, man. You guys were going back and forth. Once you started catching up.
Yeah, man. I had to, of course, at halftime it was 17-7, and then I believe I had the ball for something like that, and then I think I had the punt, and I got a pick six with my linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
And,
I saw that. Yeah.
And I also had an interception too with my defensive tackle.
Yeah.
So I accidentally clicked on him. I was like, God, I'm supposed to cover the middle, and I went back. I still rushed forward. But I dropped my defensive tackle and I got a pick off of that. So
man, I came Hicks, right?
Yeah. Actually, wait, I gotta say something. In Madden 2021, I would not trade Chubbs. Don't ask me for him or nothing because Chubbs is amazing in this game, and I gave him up like the first couple of weeks in the first season. I'm sorry, Chubbs. Next Madden, you're coming home. You're staying home.
Yeah, because he killed you.
God,
20 carries for 166 yards.
Yeah, he's a beast.
That's why he's using Chubbs and not Coleman.
Yeah. 'Cause I traded him Coleman before.
Because I was wondering why he's got two good running backs, but
man,
Chubb.
Yeah, so
he made him
shout out to the
tough
Ravens. I mean, Ravens has definitely made me sharpen my game up. I was struggling, and that was my first time beating them twice in the same season. So, yeah, and I got a big win against the Eagles. Hopefully I got a semi game plan against Billups. We always go back and forth. He won one, I won one. So hopefully this is my win to clinch something. So yeah.
Yeah, that was good. That was an important win for you to even have a chance to win your division.
Man, it was big because I'll tell you something about me. Like I said, everybody know Dillard a 5-time champ, but I felt like we could have got Dillard to quit Madden. You know, the way he started off the season. I felt like
wow.
Hey, say it, man.
I saw it in his voice, man. I was like, oh man.
Yeah.
I was like, he got 4 losses. He didn't even play the Ravens yet. So I was like, he lose the Ravens twice. And I see Dillard to 2021. But he recalibrated his game. You know, do what champions do. Do what real players do. Made some adjustments. Make the big plays when they need to. So definitely kudos to you, man.
Thanks, man. Thank you.
But I still want you to lose, though.
Yeah, whatever. Hey, Billups, you ain't never lied. I was this close to saying screw Madden. I'm like,
he's about to start.
We knew we heard all week.
there's been a lot of people that were like that.
but I'm not knocking the people I lost to. Like I lost to you, Billy, right? So okay, that's cool. But I lost to the Bears. I never lost to the Bears before. I lost to the Packers. I never lost to the Packers. Screw the Chargers. And then yeah. So those are my 4 losses.
And you had a lot of close games, man.
Yeah, and they're close. Except screw the Chargers, but the other games were close. Well, I said the Bengals too.
Yeah, when that Chargers game happened, I was like, because I felt like Harris he's trying to score 60. I felt like
no, it wasn't. No, it wasn't.
Debo.
He was going for the throat, and I was like, he threw like 6 picks in the third quarter. Like the game was always about to be nasty. So, but yeah, you did your thing, man. 7 games in a row. Congrats. I mean, that's like handing your.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you, man.
Sure.
Got you on the right track. Playoff potential.
No.
Got another game in Week 14 that I think was very important to the AFC East race. Miami Dolphins needed that win against the Buffalo Bills. They lost 31-28. I mean, that game just was tight. They tried to come back. They could score 14 points in the fourth, but they went down early, 24-14.
Yeah.
Was shut out in the third, and that just wasn't enough. Just didn't have enough to finish it.
That fourth down conversion that Dorian got was amazing right there. That out route that he threw. That was that would have gave the Dolphins the ball back. He had that opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Jared Allen, 112.4, a quarterback rating, 331 yards passing. He was just doing what he wanted to do. 75% completion. I mean, he had a really, really good game. He had a good day on the ground too.
Yeah, shout out to D. Loyal also, man. I think he caught his shot week 5, week 6, 7 after a suspension. He was about to go undefeated rest of the season. That was about 2 podcasts ago.
Yes.
Yeah, he did say that.
Last 3 games are against the computer. So, I think he's going to accomplish what he said he was going to do. So, another guy's going to be on a 9-game winning streak going into the playoffs.
He had to do it dramatically. He had to take that suspension.
Well, his running back has definitely helped him. 18 carries, 108, and 3 touchdowns, 6-yard average. So he's looking good on the ground and in the air. He just needs to clean it up on the ground, giving up 163 to the Ruckus. So, but he's on the right. I think he's on the right track.
Who the hell is the Ruckus, man?
That's the hot rookie in Miami.
I know. I'm just trying to figure out why the hell
he always gives him some funky names, man. That's bullet for you.
Better than
the name of his coach. Name of his coach is even more funny.
There was another pretty close game that week.
Which one's
Giants?
The Chargers and the Broncos. That was a pretty close game.
Oh yeah. What happened in that game? Cole,
look, I was winning. I'm
gonna let him talk first. He was dominating.
I was winning like 23-9 or something like that. All I know is I had a chance to take a 3-possession lead. I think I ran an end around to Antonio Brown, right? He stumbles, and Derwin James comes out of nowhere and lights him up. And I fumble with the 1-yard line. with the 1-yard line. The next play, he gets a 99-yard touchdown run. The very next play. It was a lot closer than I thought.
Talk about momentum shift. That's a momentum shift right there.
My quarterback it is. And he returned it for a touchdown. So I'm down 7-0 after the first play of the game, and I got the ball first. So
right.
But then, I don't know. I played pretty well until he ran the ball more. And I just didn't stop his run. Eckler had 197 yards and a touchdown.
See, he over there crying about Gordon. He got 120 yards with Eckler.
I just know how to run the ball, man. I
picked them all 4 times, so that was pretty good.
Man, Mike Evans is a nuisance. There's no way in the world Mike Evans should have out-jumped Melifonwu, man. Melifonwu got 97 jumping ability, and like he was up there with the ball and it still got over him. Oh, wait, that's that X Factor stuff right there. That's what that was.
Well, Mike Evans is pretty tall. It's like 6'5", 230.
Yeah, he's tall.
Melifonwu was 6'4".
Yeah,
right.
And,
so he's taller than him.
My last possession of the game.
That one inch counts.
and he's a receiver.
Apparently so.
Melifonwu was on defense. He on defense because he played defense.
Has he got an X Factor too, right?
And then
that's what helped him, the X Factor.
Yeah.
Because Melifonwu usually picks those off.
See, now I know how we feel with that cheat code.
And then my last possession of the game.
We ain't going there.
So is there
My last
no secret
possession
to
of the
stopping Mike
game.
Evans?
So what?
I said, is there no secret to stopping Mike Evans?
Leave him wide open. That's the secret.
Just put James on him, man, and hope for a fumble.
He was double teamed. And
Yeah.
Carlson was right there with him, Melifonwu with him, and Melifonwu jumped. And I'm just like, okay, this should be like, either a swat down or a pick. No, that fool caught the ball and he ran it down.
Yeah.
I was just like, I can't take this no more. I said, you know what? You getting cover 4 all game down.
Any other games stand out for you this week?
Well, I had one last thing to say about that game too.
Oh, what happened? What's that?
So last possession of the game, I played the clock perfect. I set up for the game-winning field goal and he blocks it. I was so mad because it was 31-31. I took the clock from like 4 minutes to like 59 seconds or a minute, something like that. And he blocks my field goal, and then on the other end, he gets the field goal and wins.
Oh,
wow. That was big.
That means you didn't hit
defense special teams.
Yeah, you didn't hit it. It wasn't accurate when you hit the ball, was it?
Well, I don't think it was perfect accuracy, no. But it would have made it.
If it's not perfect accuracy, usually it'll get blocked sometimes.
Yeah, but I ran the ball well. That was like the first game this year I actually ran the ball well.
Yeah.
Well, since we got both owners on, you want to talk about the comeback of our ages, the Oakland over the Giants?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was I checked the score early. I think it was like 22-10 going into the fourth quarter, and then, what happened after that?
Joseon beat the Giants.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Can you hear him?
I see you, Joseon. I see you, Joseon.
Tiger, you had 22 points and you blew a 20-point lead?
Nah, man. The game. There was something else that happened that put Tiger out of his out of the game, out of the zone. He would have won had something not happened. He had to take a call, and it was important. And I'll leave it at that. Yeah. But that kind of distracted him from finishing out the game because it got him cold and got me hot. And the outcome, pretty much, I won the game. But I'm sure had he not gotten that call at the time we were playing, he would have won that game hands down. He had that game under control. So
it got him cold and you got hot.
He played great.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Yeah.
The best way to describe it. Best way to describe it is he had an unavoidable, serious phone call he had to field. Oh, okay. We're talking real life stuff. You know what I mean? Not even beyond that. And when you get something like that, and he couldn't, he was paused for a while. Anybody that was watching, he couldn't do it. And it was one of those things where he, once he got back on, he wasn't there. He just had to wait for the game to get over. So it really, that was it. So
he was totally distracted.
No, you ain't explain this.
No explanation needed.
Look at that. According to Matt, Matt always got something to say.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, he still probably could have won the game, but I could tell. I think when I scored that touchdown, that early touchdown with that run. And then after that, on his offense, you could tell his gameplay was totally different. So I knew he wasn't in the game. And then after that,
you would have lost that had he not got that phone call.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
So.
All right. No problem. Anything else?
But it's still a win. It's still a win. He's not there. He always like messing with people. So
right.
Seattle.
Seattle. He can hear us.
Seattle dominated.
He did good. He came back and won. That's all that matters.
Hey man, if you're not at your chair, man, don't talk.
He played well. He won. I'm not taking anything away from it. No excuse.
Seattle dominated Minnesota. This was the computer score, the one that we see 49-7. But the only reason why it even stands out is because it was one playoff team and one other one that's a potential playoff team. And I wasn't expecting the score to look like this. My money would have been on Seattle, but he was dominating him from kickoff to final kickoff. So and they got disconnected, so he ended up playing the computer. Oh, okay. But outside of that, I don't see any other games that stand out as this is a good game. So moving to week 15, which that's
this week, right?
Currently,
I think around now, yeah.
You want to wait on that, or you want to talk about that now?
Well, let's say Denver beating the Jets. That was
What
an
would be the
important
game of
win.
the week for this week? This week, what do y'all think?
Yeah, it was a good game. We played that game earlier because he told me he wanted to play at 1, and then he was like, "You want to start earlier?" And I was doing. I had. The funny thing is, I had just woken up as he texted me, "Do you want to play early?" I was like, "Sure." And that game was really a 14-point game, but like I was trying to run the clock out with like 50 seconds left, and I fumbled at like the 3-yard line and scored. The key to
You
that
can't
game
win easy,
was,
can you? Guy always got to be
key to
hard,
that
huh,
game.
Cole?
Yeah, the key to that game. I'm pretty sure Robbie Anderson was leading the league in receiving coming into this game, and I held him to 77 yards. So
Wow. Okay, that's good. That's real good.
yeah,
Robbie
Mike Evans,
he got more yards than Evans.
not even close. Mike Evans had 205 and 2
Oh,
touchdowns.
I mean,
Robbie
for the
Anderson had
season.
77 yards and no touchdowns.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
Check
Mike
ranked.
Evans.
Ranked.
4 games ago, Mike Evans was like 10th in the league in receiving. Now he's 2nd. He's had like
Wow.
He had like 700 yards in the last 3 games.
That's saying a lot.
So I got to deal with Diller's passing game, the Broncos passing game, and the Jets passing game.
The only thing that made me mad is Philip Lindsay got hurt in that game. But Philip Lindsay's been hurt like 10 weeks this year. Every game he gets hurt, it seems like.
Sounds like Bat's
Saquon.
issue with Zeke.
Like he's been
Always
hurt.
getting hurt.
And then there's one play in that game that was funny. So I'm at the 2-yard line. I roll out with my quarterback. And I guess he thought like he was trying to bait me to throw the ball or something because he moved Jamal Adams up, so the receiver was wide open. But then like he moved the guy back, so I just ran it in for a touchdown. That was weird. And then he did something very weird in this game. He pressed Mike Evans, and then took the safety from that side and brought him up to linebacker. So Mike Evans just beat the corner off the press and was wide open. I don't understand why he did that, but
Brain fart.
yeah.
But to answer your question, Hossein, what would be game of the week this week?
Yeah,
the Cowboys-Redskins game that was just played was a really, really good game, and that was important in that division for the Redskins to win. And so that there's one.
I'm sure he's waiting for my game then when I play Pete. Then, so I play the Eagles this week.
Browns-Bengals, another game of the week, and that's potentially either played after this show or Monday at 6 p.m. Vikings-Rams. See if the Vikings are even going to have a chance. But, really those 2 games to me, Browns-Bengals and Cowboys-Redskins. Nothing else is like, I'm not expecting anything crazy to happen in either of the games.
And you said the Reds, they already played, right?
Redskins overcame the Dallas Cowboys 27-24. It ended up having to go into overtime. So
that NFC North is going to be come down to the last game.
Yeah.
So, they're beating up on each other, kind of like it is happening in the AFC North. It's I think it's only 1 game, maybe 2 games separate each other. But I think the Packers swept the Vikings, so they got the tiebreaker over there, and then the Vikings and the Bears split.
Right.
The Bears are 1 up on the Packers. So if the Packers win that game, so it'll come down to some like 3rd, 4th, 5th level tiebreakers.
Or potentially getting eliminated by somebody else. Outside the division. It was like that last season.
I'm going to say this right now. I'm going to say, and so we don't talk about like a lot, which division is the best division? Now, I think right now the AFC North is the best division.
AFC North, you mean with the Browns, Bengals, and Ravens?
Yes. I think that's one of the toughest divisions. I mean, you got the 49ers, and the Seahawks. But that's it, though. It falls off. Even though they're stud like Flash and Reggie are, good owners, but they're not in the playoff picture right now. But right now, I think this season.
So you're saying just this season, not overall, like since the season 1?
Well, it's changed some, right? Has it?
No, the last three playoffs, hasn't it been the 3 out of? Am I wrong about that?
Say it again. I'm sorry.
The last 3 playoffs, we're in season 3. So the first 2 seasons, it was 3 out of the West, 3 playoff spots.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah. I'm sure somebody will correct me if I'm wrong on that, but So it's we haven't been saying that, and that's been pretty consistent. Now, Flash is off a little bit, but I don't think he's eliminated from playoffs either. So
yeah, I wouldn't say. I mean, like I say, I can be.
But that's a good argument, though. That's a good argument, though.
But I'll give it to the West, because I think that the reason why the Flash is not in the playoffs because he plays 4 games against the 49ers and Seahawks.
Yep.
I think you take that out, he plays 4 games against anybody else. I mean, he's probably gonna, at worst, he's probably go, win 2 of those, and he probably goes on top of most of them. So, I wouldn't want to. I mean, you got 3 teams in the top 10, and those are 3 tough teams in the AFC North. But I think it's a bigger drop from 3 to 4 in the AFC North than it is from 3 to 4 in the West.
Okay. Makes sense.
If you say Reggie's the 4th team in the West, that's a damn good 4th team, and that's a former Super Bowl.
I got holding on to the title.
Wait, are you talking about the Rams?
So
we talking about the Rams?
It's a good argument, but even if you look at it spread around, what I enjoy the most is the. We got a lot of good owners in there. And yeah, we got some divisions that you can kind of call the weak links, but you look at the North, 3 strong teams. Even that East and the AFC, that's 8 3-win teams. The 4, Bullock got 6 wins, so you could easily get all 4 teams could be 500 in the AFC East. The West is really, really top heavy, but the Broncos is really a good team. Hossein is back. The North is strong with 3.
Hossein.
So I mean, it's a lot. It's not too many. It's not too many gimmies in FNG. I think
true.
Right
I agree with that.
NFC South is probably going to be owned for a while by the Panthers. I'll give them that. The East, all 4 of those teams, or 3 to 4 can win easily. In the NFC East.
Billups, going back to that, I know you said something about
a lot. I mean, the Chargers got it down in the West. I mean, it's only really like 2. There's only really like 2 divisions you can go out there and be like, you can guarantee pretty much a winner.
Hey, Bill,
hands down.
Billups, going back to what you said.
That's my opinion.
Going back to
wait, Tiger. Billups, can you hear Tiger?
No.
Pull Tiger out and bring him back.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring
Pull Tiger out and bring him back.
Yeah, because I can hear him, but I don't think anybody else can.
I can hear Tiger
too. I really don't think we should hear Tiger, honestly.
Hey, can you hear me now, Billups?
All right, let me take Billups.
Go ahead, Tiger.
I think he's ignoring you on purpose, man. Just say what you gotta say.
I would do the same thing.
It's possible. I want him to hear this. Can you hear me, Billups?
You good? You live with a mic, man.
All right, cool. Because I heard you say something about pity party that Rams are in division with some good players. Is what you were saying? Something like that. I don't remember what you were saying. You said if they was in a different division playing with different people, they would do well, and they would because they're good players. Were you paying attention to what happened to the Rams when they played this NFC East guy? Were you paying attention?
Oh gosh, there you go.
What happened?
That was a
Rams?
Quality win.
Hey, y'all know he's got to get something in, man. Every show he's got to get something in.
Yeah, because he don't get the W's that are important. So.
It was the way the W happened.
Tiger, man, you a quality owner, man. You a valued member of this league, man. Don't get me wrong, man.
Well, I'll say this to go on what Tiger just said.
And by the way,
Tiger beat a team. You beat a team that was going to the playoffs, so that was a good win. You dominated a team that, if the things go right, he can make the playoffs. You know what I mean? So being eliminated already, that was a quality win. Just like Cole has a chance to get a quality win, even though he's not really playing for anything. So it was a good. There's no quitting, even the guys that are eliminated.
Nope. Yeah, Tiger, you are by far the best 3-win team we got in this league. Hands down, man. Hands down. I know, hey.
You know what? You are right.
You are, man. You the truth, bro. You the truth.
Hey, man. Tiger, I got you winning them 3 games next season, too.
I want y'all to bet next season. I want all y'all bet against me and bet to me, but bet against me.
I betted for you to go to the playoffs this season, and I lost tremendously. So now I'm betting for you to get 3 games next season.
Lose again.
Right now you're tied for a number 3 overall pick. So look at the bright side of things.
Yeah, I think
you're tied with the Falcons for the number 3 over pick.
All these number 1 picks, these first round picks,
Hey,
you getting, man,
he
it's
should
all
have a
low.
squad.
I know, man. Like, geez, dude. Like, seriously.
I got a good team. It's all coaching. It got nothing to do with the team.
Yo, they'd have been fired the coach by now.
You play to win the game. Hello.
You got to do another
moving right along. To more pertinent things. We had a couple changes in the league. I know last show we were talking about some owners who had to kind of get the act right, change a couple things and be a little more responsive and I believe it was 4 owners. We I don't want to say called out, but we know that we put them on notice. And we're 3 weeks later, and we have 2 less of those owners. And fortunately, the 2 owners who kind of got themselves together are 2 owners that we had issues with, and now we don't. And that's the reason why we even brought it up. I'm happy that they made the changes, and they're being more active and being more a part of the league, and that's the only reason why we brought it up, is because we want them to stay in the league and enjoy the games the way we enjoy the games. Everybody right now is on lockdown, so this is our sports. This is our NFL. We want to watch the games. We want to we're rooting for you. Everybody got the teams that they root for and root against, but I was happy to see that they had made the changes. Unfortunately, the Jaguars owner and the Falcons owner did not make those changes. They didn't communicate with their opponent. I'm talking about the Falcons. Didn't communicate with their opponent at all. 2 weeks after we told them. And,
is that a big teddy bear?
Yes, it is.
Hey man, let that man go, man.
And for some reason, the Jaguars owner, perplexingly, acted like they never read the rules. Just were going for it on 4th downs and crazy situations. We have rules against that. Just among the other problems we were having, started playing crazy, and we realized that if you don't care to watch the rules and you don't care to communicate, you're already starting off on a bad foot. And at that point, you're on probation. You're on probation. You're still messing up. We had to cut them, unfortunately.
We should post
we have
our
2
rules
more
on our Facebook page somewhere where everybody can read it.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
That's a good idea.
Tag everybody and they can read them before they play, right?
Okay, I'm just saying, it might help.
Dripping with sarcasm. Because literally, Phillips points it out, reminds people. Hossein does the same thing. He points it out and reminds people. It's just amazing how some people struggle. But
it's
I like
the
to
first
focus
thing
on
we
the
do when
positive.
you join the league. Not to interrupt, but it's the first thing we do. We announce who the owners are, what team they're taking. We welcome them to the league, and then of course after that we tag them on the captain's list. We tag them on the Constitution. So it's it's not like they can't say they didn't know. So, and we even make them post that they read the rules and understand. So I'm not even sure if he actually did that, to be honest with you. I'd have to look back.
I'll say this. There's been one time or twice when we've let somebody in, and Hossein and I didn't really do our job. And when I saw that they violated the rule, when I looked, we didn't even make them read it. I said, you know what? We're going to give them a warning. Say,
Correct.
Hey, look at the rules because you violated one. Obviously, you didn't see it. Foreknown is forewarned. And I'm just happy we didn't lose all 4. I'm happy we only lost 2 to focus on the positive. But outside of the news of losing the 2 owners, is there any other standings or league news outside of the special news we want to Hossein and I have to bring up at the end of the show? Is there anything else that we want to talk about?
I want to talk about like team available right now. Like what teams are available?
We got the Colts, the Jags, the Falcons.
That's it.
I think that's it. Colts, Jags, and Falcons. Because I think in the Redskins game, Isaiah Nash's game, a couple people were asking about it, and I told them to look up our show on YouTube.
Mixer.
Yeah, well, I told them on Mixer to look up our show on YouTube, and you'll see, so they can watch the show and see kind of where things are and everything.
So that Falcons team's it's a nice roster going into 2021. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think there might be a waiting list for a good team like that, like maybe a vet might want to get them. But
okay, fair enough.
It'd be good to get into this league, an established league like this, and and just get in where you fit in, and then when your team opens up, say something, or say something when you get in, like, hey, my favorite team is the Chiefs. If that ever opens up, that type of thing. That always helps.
The Raiders might open up.
Nah. I'll take my butt whoopings, but they still my team.
10-4. Are we doing an MVP race or anything like that, or are we saving that for maybe next week?
Let's save that for next week.
Yeah. We're getting kind of long anyway.
Yeah,
so we have we have one more announcement that we were saving to the end of the show, well, I'll do too much talking as it is. We'll let Hosian make this announcement.
Yeah,
Damn.
So we had
Set yourself up.
So we had a complaint put in regards to sportsmanship. And just so people know, that sportsmanship is a lot of times it's kind of a gray area. People say it's a gray area, but it's usually one where if there is an issue, we have to hear from the individual themselves. It shouldn't be, you're not obligated to if you play a game and you feel someone was running up the score, whatever the case may be, again, it's, you would have to voice your concern or your reasoning for that to one of the commissioners. It's not one that if someone does it, they have to report it. It's more if someone feels that they, that rule, that sportsmanship rule has been violated in some way, shape, or form. So we did have one. And that this one will go. I hate to say it, but this one's gonna go against Tranks. The last game against his opponent Cardinals. There was a complaint filed in regards to that due to the points, and then of course and part of it was that we make rivals lists, and unfortunately he hadn't accepted the rivalry from the Niners, and so being so that was the case. And of course, the outcome of the score, unfortunately, there will be a 1-game suspension for that. So, but again, a lot of the rules we kind of have in place, and they're kind of straightforward. But the sportsmanship rule, it does have to come from the individual. It shouldn't, if Billups plays, Dillard, and I go and tell Billups, hey, Dillard ran up the score. You should tell somebody. That's. It has to come from the individual. So and it did so in this instance. So, but so we're that's where we're at with that. So,
well, if I could interject a bit here, as the commissioner, not as the owner, just so everyone knows what the actual rule is, because sometimes it's fuzzy, even though it's written in black and white.
Correct.
People have bad memories on what it is, and it always takes some time to review it. Obviously, I need to review it because I just broke it. But the rule is, if you are winning by 22 points or more in the fourth quarter, in other words, you're in the fourth quarter, you're winning by 22 points or more, the only thing you can do is kick field goals when it comes to scoring. Okay? No safeties, no defensive touchdowns. Only thing you can do is kick field goals when it comes to scoring. That's your only option. Now, like Hosian mentioned, let's say you throw 3 touchdowns in the fourth and you're already up 22 points or more. If, let's say I'm playing Billups and I do that, if he and I are mentally we're rivals, but he didn't actually officially make it, if Billups doesn't report it to Hosian saying, yeah, I was fine when I should have played better defense or run or stop the clock. If that's in his head and he doesn't report it to Hosian,
right,
then no harm, no foul. It's not like the 49-point rule where if you score over 49, it doesn't matter whether or not it's reported or not. You're going to get penalized. This one is one of those, if you feel violated, for lack of a better term, or if you feel offended, or you feel like the score was, or the fact the opponent was being unsportsmanlike, you have to report it. It's not, you have to report it specifically, you're not required to report it, but in order for Josiana or myself to investigate, the person who was in the game has to report it. We're not sitting there waiting, watching the games, waiting to see if somebody violates. So my best, and this will probably be my last comment as the commissioner. Any other comment after that, I'll be the 49ers owner. I know it's two hats I wear. It is not Reggie's fault that I'm being suspended.
Correct.
And the reason why is I need to be more careful about what I'm doing. I should have checked before I played him, right? And I should have ran it out at the 5. I should have went down earlier than going, I have control of everything I do. It has nothing to do with, me being reported for it. It's my fault. He didn't make me score. I was the one that scored. So I'm responsible for my action. And, I have to take ownership for the things that I do and take this one on the chin. It was me. No one else is to blame for this but me. So, as the last, you guys can talk to me after that. I'll just be the 49ers owner. Yeah, I won't be the commissioner, but that's the fault is right here. This guy, the guy wearing the 52 jersey.
And remember, we have the rivalries list for that. So if you guys have games where you have the games are closed, or you just have that rivalries list.
Is there a message that says no, I don't accept your rivalry?
Yes, we actually have it to where when you post your rivals have to accept.
In this scenario, the person say no, thank you, I don't want to be your rival.
They didn't accept the rivalry. Tranks,
you have to
accept. So if I say, hey, I want the Giants, I want the Chargers, I want the Bengals, I want the Dillers, I want the Browns, I want the 49ers as my rivalry, and let's say everyone accepts, but Dillard says I accept, you say you accept. Harris says you accept. If you don't say you accept, it's not a valid rivalry. You have to accept the rivalry.
They have to confirm that they're your rival.
That I accepted some people, but didn't accept others. I just didn't bother paying attention to that threat.
That's a possibility.
That's a possibility.
It doesn't matter.
But it doesn't matter. You have to accept. Yeah, everyone that he tagged on this post initially for rivalry accepted, with the exception of, I think, one. And so I had to confirm that.
Right.
So
sorry, Matt. It's not the NFC best anymore.
That's
not possible. Sorry, man.
No, here's the thing. Let me tell you.
Sorry, just throwing that away. Just throwing that away. You're ex Super Bowl champion. You can't take a rivalry. You can't take a beat down, man. I'm throwing it out.
And that's the reason why. But you gotta think about it. But that's why we have.
They'll call your boy. Handle that. That's boom.
Damn, Tiger, let Jose on talk, man.
But that's why we have that rivalries post, because we make people post, and you have to accept. That's the reason for it, because there's people that have put me as a rival and I don't accept. So
correct.
So
and I had 3 people accept when I put it out there.
Correct.
The Seahawks, the who else is it? Some other. The Seahawks, the Panthers, and there's one more. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank.
You had 6, and I think 4 accepted out of the 6.
Yeah.
So you may want.
There was the Redskins, Seahawks, and the Redskins, Seahawks, and Panthers accepted.
But you got to think about it, Tiger. If we don't have that rivalries list, then you would have.
Who's wearing the skirts? You can't
run. I don't think he can hear a women.
To know that,
no, that's not how.
No, that's not fair.
The rivalries list is that's why we have the rivalries list. Everybody in the league is just going to assume that they can just run up the score on anybody, and that's not what we want. Yeah. We don't want everybody just running up the score because they can, because there's people here that their placed, everyone's ability is not the same.
Right.
So, correct. So it wouldn't be fair for Matt to go and blow up everybody he plays just because he can.
No, but that's
the reason for it.
I'm saying he should know better. It's Jedi's fault. He's over here now. It's
Jedi's
fault.
Well, and believe me,
he should know. He should, like what Eddie Murphy said.
Well, and that's why we say
skirts. You should know the skirts when you play skirts.
Listen. Listen.
That's not what it's about.
First of all, that is not a fair description or iteration that you're doing. I'm the one that's responsible for it. It's not,
Look at Matt.
I could have controlled it. It was completely controllable by me. And honestly,
I'm not excusing you. I said shame on you.
No, but your description. No, your description of
my opinion.
Somebody's skirts. I understand it. It's unfair. I'm
I'm
you,
looking forward. I think I'm gonna post for off season. I know when I gotta post it for a vote, so we can vote that division rivals.
Man, pick your head up.
Division rivals
Head up.
matter so much. We should automatically make division rivalries. Have you ever heard of any division rivalry where let's go have coffee afterwards? No, that's not how division rivalry.
I agree.
Somebody mute that man.
Hey, no.
Yeah, no,
I hear,
man.
I hear
Mute the hell out of him.
I hear Trent. I think if you're in the same division, I think that should be automatically be a rivalry.
I do believe that.
Anybody outside of that, that's who you should ask. Like, hey, you're gonna be my rival. But if they're in your division, I mean, come on.
I'll say this.
Do you have everyone as your rival in your division, Dill? No, you don't.
Yeah, I don't think I even post.
See, so you're saying everybody should, but you don't. See.
So wait, no.
He's saying it should be automatic. He said it should be automatic.
Okay. My division could score 90 points on me. You're not going to hear a report. Let me put it that way. All right. No matter who.
Okay.
But
that's fair.
That's fair. That's true.
So I want to know. I know one. I want to know who the rest of those people who would come out and play. You when you get if your division rival, you gotta go to work.
No, you can't do that.
Your opinion is not the only opinion, Tiger.
Right, exactly.
And I am I'm playing devil's advocate to the 10th power here, but I have to do it because those people aren't here. So I have to do it. But listen. Your opinion is.
I didn't hear you. Wait a minute.
There you go. Yeah.
I'm doing both of them because I don't think they can hear each other.
You could get Tiger out though.
No, we can hear each other.
I'm saying I got a lot of weight of losses, right? I got a lot. I'm the representative of losing teams, right? So I understand.
Listen,
Tiger, across the world.
He said across the world.
All right, first off, before I say anything, can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you.
I would rather have me taking the penalty than me being able to blow people out and we have a bunch of computer teams because people's feelings is hurt. Or people quitting when they're getting blown out in the fourth. See what I'm saying? So
I get that. All my jokes aside, what I'm saying is this, Jedi. If you care enough to where you're going to report the person afterwards, then you should make sure you care enough to respond to the request to say no thank you. That's my point. If you don't do that,
I'm not arguing your rule not being a good one. I'm not arguing your rule potentially change could potentially be a good or a bad one. I'm just saying that description or that way of thinking is just a bit off. Right now, look, it's my responsibility to make sure the people that are on my list are on my list, so I don't have to worry about it. Like I know Wally, I know Flash. He's the Rams owner. He's been the Rams and I've been the 49ers since we were kids back in the Jim Everett, Joe Montana days. So while he didn't accept it, that's the last thing I would worry about. So the fact that he didn't accept it, I know if that was to happen, it wouldn't be an issue. But it is my responsibility, as the rules are currently, until they are changed.
Like I get that.
Yeah, you get that. You get that penalty. You deserve it. Terrible job by you, especially in 2 games. The point is,
he's mad because you can't do it.
The point is,
it should be 2 games.
If you're going to complain, and this is for everybody, honestly, if you're going to be the person that complains when someone blows you out for whatever reason, just make sure you go to the thread and say, no, thank you. You are not my rival. That person knows. If you just don't say anything, how are they going to know you can be a little whatever after the game?
Well, because Tranks was actually specific on his post. He said, please accept my rivalry.
Right.
So he was specific. And he
I think that people should do that. I think you're right, Hossein. I think this is not excusing Tranks for losing the game. Fine. But going forward, people go to the list, say yes, no, so that people know that you're going to be the cry, afterwards. Because if not, then how are they going to know? You can't just assume no.
But it's not crying. It's not crying afterwards.
Exactly.
Nah, it has nothing to do with that.
Everything we got is documented rules. You
Correct.
follow the rules or you don't.
Correct.
Regardless of what it is, it's the rule. So that's about somebody crying or anything like that.
No, nobody cried about it though. It was a rule.
No, well, that's not accurate. And I want to say the fact that even saying crying to me is that's unfair. That's bad.
Right.
All right. What it is there has to either be a report or not a report. That's what it is. So that's
and just like he said, him and Wally have been playing for a while now. So Wally didn't accept his rivalry, but Tranks and Wally know they've been playing long enough and they're best of friends where they know they don't really need that rivalry doesn't have to be on paper. It doesn't have to be official.
But technically, if he did, it would be
Correct.
my responsibility.
Right,
Exactly.
right.
The way the rules are.
Yeah, you'd be just as wrong. We're not saying you're not wrong about the rule. I'm not justifying or arguing your penalty. I said you should deserve it. You broke the rules.
Yeah, but the picture you're painting, although I believe it's an unfair picture. Although it's your opinion, it's an unfair picture.
You are complaining whether you write the word "cry" or not. We'll change the word. Okay, you are following a report and
my goodness gracious,
rule, which translates to you're whining about the score. Period. Anyway, you're going to the officials and say, "Hey, you're telling on someone." That's it. You're telling on someone for breaking the rule because you care about the score. That's what you're saying. So telling is not offensive, is it? You're telling on the person. You're tattling on the person. You're doing what we tell kids not to do about the score.
No, at the end of the day, a rule was broken, though. That's it. It was just one of those. That's it. No matter what was
got the candy out the jar. It's still a tattle. It's still a rule.
How is that telling when you break a rule? Like, all right, you know you shouldn't murder somebody, right? So you see somebody murder somebody, all right, that person right there murdered somebody. You broke a rule. You broke a law. That's it.
In the boxing ring, people get murdered. Don't mean that they tried.
Tiger is always right, y'all.
This guy will argue.
Tiger, you're right. Tiger, you're right. That's
you know,
long story.
Tiger got his panties in a bunch because he will never be able to blow somebody out.
He just did. You can't say that. He blew the Rams out.
How is it possible?
That don't count.
That somebody
his next door neighbor was playing.
Yes, no. But seriously, all things aside, why can't someone just go in there and say, "Yes, these are my rivalries"?
Why don't you just say it like that versus adding the crybaby, the tattletale, and all that?
And all that
stuff. Just say,
stuff.
look, going forward, why don't we just say when you add a rivals list, everyone should answer yes or no.
Okay,
simple as that.
Forward, go answer the rivals so that no one knows who. They know exactly who they can blow out without getting tattled on. Yes, that's simple.
Yeah, but you didn't make it that simple, man. You drugged that out. You took another 30 minutes to explain something.
Or just do what I didn't do. I wasn't careful enough. I should have just followed the rules.
And that's the beauty of what we.
I made a mistake. I thought it was a rival. I thought it was, and it wasn't. So I lose a game penalty.
I'm looking forward. I'm not looking at what you did. I'm looking forward to saying,
we are over it now.
Yeah.
All right.
No, we could do that. That's something. That's something we could. That's definitely something we could bring up at the end of the season, like we always do. That's
a question for the commissioners.
Yes.
Is there a statute of limitation for reporting out such rule breaking?
You have the week. If we advance and you haven't complained, I'm not going to hear it.
Yes.
Good deal.
Yeah, usually most of those complaints will come in right after the game, Billups. So people most likely aren't going to wait because by then, if they haven't recorded or it's not fresh on their memory, they're not going to remember. So
nope, I'm just asking for the league. Thank you.
Thank you.
It helps in those situations to have the game recorded. My game was recorded, so it was easy to see, what happened. It was and just for to be, completely open. It was I scored twice in the second half, a touchdown in the third, and it was a pick six in the fourth that was the difference maker.
Yeah. And that's why we post everything too, guys. I mean, Facebook, if you see me, Billups, and Tranks, every time, when it comes to the position changes, we make a post. That way we can track. When it comes to any of the, rivalries, we put that on their captains list. That way we can track as to who's doing what. So when, even for trades, if people want to do trades and they haven't posted their captains, those trades ain't going to happen. So that's why we make those posts and make everyone, I know people complain like, why do we got to keep posting stuff and this and that, but that's why, so I was able to go back and confirm that there wasn't a rivalry there. And so unfortunately that made the complaint a little bit easier to review and apply the sanctions. So
it was cut and dry.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, do you screenshot when the rivalries are accepted? Because nothing stops me from going on and say, Bill, yeah, you're my rival, and then deleting it, right? That's the same scenario, right?
That is one of the flaws of having it on Facebook.
Correct.
That is a flaw.
Mm-hmm.
I could just say, Bill, you're not my rival, I'm deleting it. And then
thank you, Tiger, for letting everyone know what they can do now.
No, but here's how you stop that. Here's how you stop that. Once the person is accepted, you can edit your own post and say accepted, because I had done that.
Correct.
In the last Madden. After everyone accepted, I went back and edited my post and said accepted, and there were one or two people who didn't, and I requested somebody else So you can kind of protect yourself.
I
Trust me, I actually thought about
because we're
that.
trying to make sure that it's going forward. Not looking at what you did. You
Correct.
messed up, Jedi. You got penalty. You deserved it. Going forward, how do we stop the unknown? Because
That's
someone said yes,
that's a
or
good way,
no.
like Trank
No.
said. Just once you post your rivalries list and those have accepted, just repost it, yourself, so that way you're covered. You know what I'm saying? So if someone does say, "Hey, we're not rivals," you can be like, "Nope, you did accept. Here it is,
So,
black and white."
so at the
Yep.
end of the day,
Because
everybody in this league is adult. So hopefully we don't have that many integrity issues where people are going to post something, edit it later, delete it later, and all that
Right.
other stuff. So
Yeah, we
anything
typically,
can happen, but
we don't have
nobody
these
got that
issues.
kind of time to spend that much time screenshotting every comment and
Right.
saving it and all that kind of stuff. So I don't think
Yeah.
we ran into this issue before
Correct.
at all, where someone said yes and it changed their mind. This is not that scenario, so there's no point in walking down that line. It was just something that he didn't verify it. Okay, it happened. He'll do better next time. So I think
Correct.
we can move forward.
Let's move on.
Can you undo it? Can you say I changed my mind?
Yeah.
Why not? Why not? If you haven't played yet, and let's say I'm having a terrible season, right? No, that's actually a good question. I'm having a terrible season, and I'm about to run in the Billups, and I'm like, look, dude, I don't want to be your rival. That lets Billups know. You got to tell him before the game. You can't change it right after the game. You got to let him know before the game. But if I tell Billups, before the game and post it, because that's important. If I post it, hey, I don't really want to be your rival, and I let him know before we play, then he knows what he needs to do. He won't go into the game that way. To me, that's fair. And obviously, Hossein and I would be like, look, it was on here. You told him afterwards. He would know whether or not that happened. So it's not likely to happen, but it's a possibility.
So the fair question.
It was a good question. Yeah,
unbiased fair question.
God damn, Tiger.
It's
a good question, though.
Trank, thanks owning up to it, man. You good, man. God bless you. Yeah, but you're still in the playoffs. You're still good. It's not the 7-game suspension you had a couple years ago. Ain't one of those suspensions. You're good.
Go and fishing early. Yep. Hey,
Man,
you guys are having a good time playing. Hey, I'm back here fishing.
He's got a bad track record, man. And
they hate to love me.
Right, they hate to love you. Right,
Tio.
Hey, is that all we have to talk about on today's show?
I'm gonna just say one more. I'm gonna just say that I had somebody that go ahead, Bill. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. You got it.
I mean, it wasn't really important, but no, forget it. It's important. One guy I went ahead and wanted him to accept my rival. He didn't. He's actually watching the show right now. I ain't gonna put his name out there, but when I do play him next season, I'm gonna put my foot so far. All right, go ahead, Bill. You can talk. In 3 quarters, I'm gonna do it.
Is it Matt?
It's a cat. I know that.
So I just want to run down some lineups. We got basically 3 to 4 games left in the season. I saw a post earlier today where the Packers owner said he was out the playoff picture. You are not out the playoff picture at all as of right now. So I'm gonna just run down each division and just basically say who's alive. So the North AFC, right now the Ravens have the lead, but the Bengals and the Browns are both still alive. In the AFC South, the Texans have it on lock as far as winning their division. They're guaranteed to have the 4th seed. In the East, the Bills have a stranglehold on it, but the Patriots and the Jets are still alive for the wild card spot.
Till tomorrow.
The West is going to the Chargers. So that's the AFC. And the NFC is up for anyone as far as owning the North. So the Packers are at 7-7, Vikings are at 7-6, and the Bears are 8-5. So that the North is still open for any one of those 3 teams. The South is owned by the Panthers. That's hands down. That's a lock. They probably got the 2 seed on lock as well. The East.
No, it's not guaranteed. The Panthers play the Redskins later on this season, so they could lose the number 2 seed to the Redskins.
Yeah, but yeah, true.
They will.
True. The Redskins are at 10-4, so they're 2 games behind with 3 to play on the Panthers. The Eagles still have a chance at the wild card spot. So does the Cowboys, depending on how things happen. The West, obviously, Seahawks and 49ers have clinched, and the Rams still alive for the wild card spot. So
they need help.
Yes and no. They can get 3 games in a row. They'll be 10-6. Some of the other teams. So So yeah, I mean, a lot of teams are open. Some teams can maybe clinch even with 9 wins, depending on what happened. But the Rams are in
Correct.
more control than some of the other teams.
True.
All right.
All right.
That's just
Thanks
a
for that
rundown
rundown,
real
man.
quickly over all the teams out there in the FNG.
All right.
Appreciate that.
Yeah,
Fellas,
we know. Hell
fellas,
yeah.
this show went an hour and 30 minutes. Great show. Like I said, we had a lot to talk about. Always entertaining. Everybody brings something different to the table. That's why I love doing this show with y'all. Cole, I know you on standby, dude. I appreciate you being on, brother.
Thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, thank you. You know, definitely giving us your 2 cents. Yeah, with that being said, we'll try to have another one next week. I hit the guys up, see if we got enough.
Hold on. I'm
information.
gonna be out of town. Oh no, I'll be there.
Yeah, next week is
Why would you go out of town?
He just
week-
did.
Right, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Sometimes.
Yeah, you're a good one. All right. Oh, and yeah, on that, please be safe out there, fellas and ladies, whoever's watching. Please be safe. Definitely ain't trying to get no bad news from anybody in this league or family members, none of that. So please be safe out there. And yeah, good luck, y'all. Playoff run.
Playoffs, baby.
So, Dill, who we call the lady?
Oh Lord, somebody end the show, man. End the show.
Yeah, man. You
End the
the
show.
reason why we ain't gonna see the Browns and the Bengals.
Right.
Like, God damn. So you telling me this is what's gonna happen after this, right? Yo, what? Let's leave it alone.
All right. Take care, fellas.
All right, man.
All right, now.
Whatever.